Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the human ship Horizon's Edge when the emergency signal came through the deep space radio. The signal was weak, but clear enough to understand that someone needed help. Badly, Jake looked at his crew. The bridge was small, but well-designed. Lisa Park, his chief engineer, sat at her station, checking the engine readings. Dr. Amy Rodriguez, the ship doctor, was reviewing medical supplies on her tablet. Ben Taylor, the security chief, stood near the weapons console, ready for anything. The signal came from a ship Jake had never seen before. The design was strange and beautiful at the same time. It looked like someone had built a war machine, but made it elegant. The hull was dark purple, with silver lines running along its sides. Jake made the decision quickly. They would help whoever was out there. His crew agreed without question. This was what humans did. They helped others even when they did not know who those others were. The damaged ship was called Storm Dancer. According to the weak transmission, Jake guided his ship closer very carefully. The alien ship was twice the size of Horizon's Edge, and even damaged it looked dangerous. Lisa worked her magic with the docking systems. She was the best engineer Jake had ever worked with, young and smart, with bright red hair and green eyes that seemed to see solutions everywhere she looked. The docking tube connected with a soft thud. Jake, Ben, and Dr. Rodriguez put on their spacesuits and walked through the airlock. The alien ship was warmer than expected. The air was breathable according to their scanners, but they kept their helmets on just in case. The inside of the ship was impressive. Everything was built larger than human size. The corridors were wide and tall. The walls had a strange blue glow that seemed to come from the metal itself. They found the crew in what looked like the main command center. Two aliens stood waiting for them. The first was young, maybe 20. In human years, she was tall like all her people, but not as tall as the second alien. The young one had smooth purple skin and large golden eyes. Her hair was white like starlight. The second alien was clearly the older one, and obviously in charge. She was massive even compared to her own people. She was huge, 7 feet tall, with broad shoulders and arms that looked like they could bend steel. Her skin was darker, purple, almost black, and covered with what looked like natural armor plates. The older alien had scars on her face and arms. Each scar looked like it came from a serious fight. Her eyes were the same golden color as the younger alien, but harder, like metal that had been forged in fire. The young alien stepped forward. First she spoke in accented, but clear English, which surprised Jake. "My name is Kira," she said. Her voice was musical but strong. "I am a diplomat of the Zephyrian Empire. This is my mother, Commander Vera." "Blackthorn, Commander." Vera said nothing, but her eyes studied each human carefully. Jake felt like she was measuring him for a fight. Her hand rested on what was clearly a weapon at her side. "We received your distress call," Jake said, keeping his voice calm and friendly. "We are here to help." Kira smiled, and Jake saw relief in her golden eyes. "Our main power core is failing," she explained. "Our repair systems are damaged. We cannot fix it ourselves." Dar Rodriguez stepped forward. "I am a doctor," she said. "Can I help anyone who is hurt?" Commander Vera spoke for the first time. Her voice was deep and powerful like distant thunder. "No injuries," she said simply, but firmly. Lisa had stayed on the human ship monitoring the systems, but her voice came through their communicators. "Captain, I can see their power readings from here. Their core is going critical. They have maybe 6 hours before total failure." Jake looked at the two aliens. 6 hours to fix an alien power core was not much time, but Lisa was amazing at solving impossible problems. "We will help," Jake said to Kira. "Can our engineer work with your systems?" Kira looked at her mother. Commander Vera studied Jake for a long moment, then nodded once. Lisa came over through the docking tube carrying her tools and scanners. She moved quickly but carefully when she saw the aliens. Her eyes went wide, but she did not seem afraid, just curious. Lisa looked at the alien technology like it was a fascinating puzzle. She asked Kira many questions about how their systems worked. Kira answered eagerly, and soon the two were working together like old friends. Jake watched Commander Vera watch Lisa and Kira work together. The big alien woman never relaxed her eyes, followed every movement Lisa made. Her hand never moved far from her weapon. but there was something else in Commander Vera's eyes when she looked at her daughter. Jake saw love there, deep protective love, that reminded him of his own mother. The repair work was complex. Lisa and Kira had to crawl through tight spaces and work with dangerous energy systems. Commander Vera followed them everywhere she could fit, always watching, always ready to protect her daughter. As the hours passed, Jake learned more about the Zephyrians. They were warriors from a harsh world, where only the strong survived, but they were also deeply loyal to family and friends. Commander Vera had fought in dozens of battles to protect her people, and her daughter Lisa and Kira worked well together. Lisa's brain for solving problems matched perfectly with Kira's knowledge of Zephyrian technology. They laughed together as they worked. Jake noticed that Commander Vera's expression softened slightly when she heard her daughter laugh. With 1 hour left before critical failure, Lisa and Kira found the solution. It required both human and Zephyrian techniques working together. The power core stabilized and began running normally again. The Zephyrian ship was saved. Everyone was safe. Commander Vera actually smiled for the first time. It changed her whole face from scary to beautiful. "Thank you," Lisa said to Kira. "We make a good team." Kira smiled back. "We do," she agreed. Then she looked thoughtful. "I need to ask you something important." "Lisa, something private." Jake saw Commander Vera tense up again. Her warrior instincts were telling her something was coming, something that would change everything. Lisa followed Kira to a quiet corner of the alien ship. Her heart was beating fast because she could tell something important was about to happen. Kira looked nervous, which was strange because she had seemed so confident before. Kira took a deep breath and looked directly into Lisa's eyes. "In my culture," she began, "there is a special way we show love. When someone wants to marry, they must prove they are worthy." He felt confused. "What do you mean, prove worthy?" she asked Kira. Hands moved nervously. "You must challenge the mother of the person you love," she explained. "You must fight her in single combat. Only if you are brave enough to face her can you marry her daughter." Lisa felt her stomach drop. Fight Commander Vera, the woman who looked like she could tear apart a battle tank with her bare hands. Lisa was an engineer, not a warrior. She had never been in a real fight in her life. But Kira continued speaking. "I have watched you work, Lisa. I have seen how smart you are, how kind you are. I think I am falling in love with you." Lisa heart jumped. She had been feeling the same way about Kira, but had not known how to say it. Now Kira was telling her she felt the same way. "But there was this impossible problem. You want me to fight your mother," Lisa said. Slowly Kira nodded. "It is our way," she said. "If you defeat her, or if you show enough courage in trying, then she will accept you as worthy of my hand." Lisa looked across the ship where Commander Vera was talking with Captain Jake. The big alien woman was gesturing with her hands as she spoke. Even when she was just talking, she looked dangerous. Lisa went back to her own ship with her head spinning. She found Captain Jake in his ready room and told him everything. Jake listened carefully, his face getting more surprised with each word. Jake called a meeting with his senior staff. Dr. Rodriguez and Ben Taylor joined them in the small conference room. Lisa explained the situation again. "Oh, let me understand this," Ben said. "You have to fight a 7-foot-tall alien warrior who has been in more battles than we have had hot meals." "That is exactly right," Lisa said. Miserably, Dr. Rodriguez leaned forward. "I examined Commander Vera's medical readings when we were helping them," she said. "Her bone density is 3 times human normal. Her muscle mass is incredible. She could probably lift our entire shuttle." "This is crazy," Ben said. "No offense, Lisa, but you would last about 10 seconds against her." Jake held up his hand. "Wait," he said, "let me talk to Kira more about this. Maybe there is something we are missing." Meanwhile, on the Zephyrian ship, Commander Vera was having her own conversation with her daughter. She had noticed the way Kira looked at the human engineer, and she was not surprised. When Kira told her about her feelings, mother, Kira said, "I know this is unusual, but I really care about Lisa." Mandor Vera studied her daughter carefully. "Tell me about this human," she said. Kira's eyes lit up. "She is brilliant, mother. She solved our power core problem in hours. She is brave and kind and funny. She makes me feel happy in a way I have never felt before. Commander Vera had been watching Lisa work, and she had to admit she was impressed. The young human had shown courage crawling into dangerous areas of the ship to make repairs. She had shown intelligence in understanding alien technology. She had shown kindness in the way she treated Kira as an equal, but the traditions were important. Commander Vera had earned her position through combat. Her own mother had tested her husband the same way. It was how their people knew that love was real and strong. Though next day both ships' crews met for a cultural exchange dinner. Jake had suggested it as a way for everyone to get to know each other better. The human ship dining room was small, so they used the larger space on the Zephyrian ship. Commander Vera told stories of her homeworld Zephyria. It was a harsh planet with dangerous storms and fierce predators. Only the strongest survived, but those who did became incredibly loyal to their families and their people. She spoke of her own mother, a legendary warrior who had defended their city from invasion. She told of her late husband, who had won her heart by facing her mother in combat and refusing to surrender, even when badly beaten. Your husband won the fight, Jake asked. Commander Vera smiled sadly. He lost, she said, but he impressed my mother with his courage and his love for me. That was enough. She saw that he would protect me and any children we had with his life. Lisa listened to these stories with growing understanding. The combat was not really about winning. It was about proving that your love was strong enough to face anything. Dar Rodriguez had been studying Zephyrian culture on her tablet. She shared what she had learned about their society. It was built around the idea that strength protected what you loved. Most families were led by the strongest female, with males and children protected by her power. Ben asked about their military. Commander Vera explained that Zephyrian warriors fought not for conquest but for protection. Every battle was about keeping their families and their people safe. As the evening went on, Lisa found herself talking more with Commander Vera. The big alien woman was actually quite gentle when she was not in warrior mode. She spoke lovingly of Kira's childhood and her pride in her daughter's accomplishments. Commander Vera also asked Lisa many questions about human culture and about her own family. Lisa talked about growing up on Earth, about becoming an engineer, about her dreams of exploring space. I can see why my daughter cares for you, Commander Vera said finally. You have a good heart and a strong mind. Thank you, Lisa said. That means a lot to me, Commander. Vera looked serious. But our traditions exist for good reasons, she said. They test whether love is real and whether someone will fight for the person they claim to love. Lisa took a deep breath. I understand, she said, and I want to accept the challenge. Commander Vera's eyes widened slightly. You understand what you are saying? She asked. Lisa nodded. I love your daughter, she said. I want to prove that I am worthy of her. I want to show that I will fight for her even against impossible odds. Commander Vera studied Lisa's face for a long moment, then she smiled. It was the first time Lisa had seen her really smile, and it transformed her entire appearance. Very well, she said, the challenge is accepted. We will fight tomorrow. Lisa spent the night before the challenge, studying everything she could about Zephyrian combat. She watched video recordings that Kira had shared with her. She read about the honor codes that governed their fighting. She barely slept. Ben Taylor had insisted on training with her. Even though there was little time, he taught her some basic self-defense moves and how to fall without getting hurt too badly. But they both knew it would not be enough against Commander Vera. The most important thing, Ben told her, was to never give up. If you stay down, she wins, he said. If you keep getting up, you show the kind of courage they respect. Rodriguez prepared medical supplies. She was worried about Lisa, but she also understood why the young engineer had to do this. Love made people do brave things, sometimes crazy things. Kira found Lisa early in the morning before the challenge began. Lisa was stretching and trying to calm her nerves. Kira looked as nervous as Lisa felt. I had been thinking, Kira said, maybe there is another way. Maybe we can change the tradition. Lisa shook her head gently. I want to do this, she said. I want to prove that I am worthy of you in your culture way. Not just my way. Kira's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. I will. Be proud of you no matter what happens, she said. The challenge was set for the cargo bay of the Zephyrian ship. It was large enough for combat, and had good lighting. Both crews gathered to watch. Jake stood with the humans, while other Zephyrian crew members formed their own group. Commander Vera entered wearing traditional combat gear. It was lighter than her usual armor, but still looked incredibly strong. She moved like a predator, confident and dangerous. Her weapons were simple metal gauntlets that covered her hands and forearms. Lisa wore basic protective gear that Dr. Rodriguez had modified for her. It would not stop serious damage, but it might prevent broken bones from minor hits. She felt very small, standing across from Commander Veron. Older Zephyrian crew member acted as the judge. He explained the rules in both languages. The combat would continue until one fighter yielded or could not continue. Both fighters must show honor and courage. Weapons were forbidden, except for the traditional gauntlets. The judge looked at both fighters. Are you ready? He asked Commander. Vera nodded once, her face serious but not angry. Lisa took a deep breath. Yes, she said. Her voice was smaller than she wanted, but it was steady. The combat began. With Commander Vera moving slowly, she was clearly holding back, testing Lisa's reactions, rather than trying to end the fight quickly. Lisa dodged the first few attacks, barely staying out of reach. Lisa had studied the recordings carefully. She knew that Zephyrian combat was about strength and endurance, but it also had patterns. Commander Vera was following the traditional forms, which meant Lisa could predict some of her moves. When Commander Vera lunged forward, Lisa rolled to the side and came up behind her. She tried to grab the bigger woman around the waist, but it was like trying to wrestle a tree. Commander Vera easily threw her off. Lisa hit the floor hard, but rolled and got back up immediately. The Zephyrian crew made approving sounds they respected. Quick recovery. Commander Vera increased her speed slightly. She was no longer just testing. She was beginning to fight seriously. Lisa found it much harder to avoid the attacks. One punch caught her shoulder and spun her around. The power behind it was incredible. Lisa used the cargo bay environment to her advantage. She dodged behind storage containers and used the walls to change direction. Quickly she was faster than Commander Vera and could fit into smaller spaces, but being faster only delayed the inevitable. Commander Vera was patient and experienced. She cut off Lisa's escape routes and gradually cornered her. Lisa tried to fight back, but her punches felt like hitting solid rock. Commander Vera grabbed Lisa and lifted her off the ground with one hand. Lisa kicked and struggled, but could not break free. Commander Vera threw her across the bay. Lisa landed hard, and for a moment could not breathe. The Zephyrian judge started counting. Lisa had 10 seconds to get up or the fight would be over. Lisa gasped for air and forced herself to stand. Her ribs hurt badly, and her left arm was not working properly, but she got up. Commander Vera looked surprised. She had clearly expected that throw to end the fight. But Lisa was standing again, ready to continue. The fight went on. Lisa was beaten down again and again. Each time she got slower to rise. Each time she looked worse, but each time she got up. Commander Vera began to look frustrated, not because Lisa was difficult to beat, but because the young human would not stay beaten. Her respect for Lisa was growing with each time. The engineer struggled back to her feet after the 7th time. Lisa was knocked down. She lay on the floor gasping. The count began. Again everyone watched to see if she could rise one more time. Lisa Bodhi was screaming at her to stay down. Her vision was blurry, and everything hurt. But she thought about Kira, waiting and watching. She thought about proving her love. She thought about showing that humans never gave up. Lisa pushed herself up on her hands and knees, then slowly stood. Commander Vera was watching her with something that looked like admiration at that moment. Lisa did something that surprised everyone. Instead of preparing to fight more, she spoke. Commander Vera, she said, her voice hoarse but clear. I know I cannot defeat you in combat. I am not strong enough, or fast enough, or skilled enough. The cargo bay became completely quiet. Everyone waited to hear what she would say next. But I love your daughter, Lisa continued. I love her intelligence, and her kindness, and her courage. I love the way she sees solutions where others see problems. I love her laugh and her curiosity about everything. Lisa took a shaky breath. I may not be a warrior like you, but I promise that I will protect her with everything I have. I will work every day to make her happy. I will stand by her side through any danger or hardship. I will love her with all my heart for as long as I live. Commander Vera stared at Lisa for a long moment. The cargo bay was so quiet they could hear the ship engines humming. Then Commander Vera did something unexpected. She removed her gauntlets and set them on the floor. The combat is over, she announced to the room. This human has shown the courage and love that our traditions require. She has proven herself worthy. The Zephyrian crew erupted in cheers and applause. Kira ran to Lisa and caught her as she finally collapsed from exhaustion. Dr. Rodriguez rushed over with her medical scanner. Commander Vera knelt down next to Lisa. Welcome to our family, she said with a smile. Dr. Rodriguez worked quickly to treat Lisa's injuries, while Kira held her hand and whispered encouragement. 3 broken ribs, a dislocated shoulder, and countless bruises, but nothing that would not heal. Commander Vera watched the medical treatment with concern, showing that her acceptance of Lisa was genuine. The news of the challenge spread quickly through both ships. The human crew was amazed that Lisa had survived, and impressed by her courage. The Zephyrian crew was equally impressed. They had never seen someone so outmatched continue fighting for so long. Jake found himself talking with Commander Vera about the traditions behind the combat. She explained that the challenge was not about winning or losing. It was about testing whether someone loved enough to risk everything. On my world, Commander Vera said, strength is what keeps families alive. But we have learned that there are many kinds of strength. Your Lisa showed the strength of the heart. Over the next few days, while Lisa recovered, the 2 crews worked together to plan the first human Zephyrian wedding. It would need to blend traditions from both cultures in a way that honored both. Kira spent most of her time with Lisa, helping her heal and talking about their future. Together they discovered they both loved exploring new technologies and solving complex problems. They talked about working together on projects that could help both their peoples. Commander Vera surprised everyone by asking to learn more about human culture. She was particularly interested in human family structures and how they protected and cared for each other without formal combat challenges. Ben Taylor found himself discussing military tactics with Zephyrian warriors. They were impressed by human strategy and creativity. While he was amazed by their individual combat skills, the 2 groups began training together, sharing techniques. Dr. Rodriguez worked with Zephyrian medical officers to understand their healing abilities. She learned that their rapid recovery from injuries was natural, but could be enhanced with proper treatment. The exchange of medical knowledge benefited both species. Lisa recovered faster than expected thanks to Zephyrian medical technology, combined with human techniques. Within a week she was back on her feet, though still sore. The wedding planning became a diplomatic event. Representatives from both the human government and the Zephyrian Empire wanted to attend. They saw the marriage as a symbol of friendship between their peoples. Jake worked with Kira to design a ceremony that would satisfy both cultures. The combat challenge had been the Zephyrian requirement. Now they needed human elements like exchanged vows and rings. Commander Vera suggested that the wedding take place on a neutral planet where both species could meet safely. She recommended Kepler station a trading post that was used to hosting multiple alien species. Preparations took several weeks. Both ships traveled together to Kepler station. During this time, Lisa and Kira worked together on engineering projects that combined human and Zephyrian technology. They created a new type of power core that was more efficient than either species had developed alone. They designed communication systems that could translate between multiple languages instantly. They solved problems that neither group could have handled separately. Commander Vera watched her daughter work with Lisa and saw how happy Kira had become. The young Zephyrian was more confident and creative than ever before. She was clearly thriving in the partnership. Jake observed the same changes in Lisa. His chief engineer had always been brilliant, but now she seemed inspired. Her work was better than ever, and she smiled Constantly, the other crew members began forming friendships across species lines. Ben Taylor and a Zephyrian warrior named Zara started training together regularly. Dr. Rodriguez and the Zephyrian medical officer began researching new treatments together. Even the ship's systems were being improved through cooperation. Human-computer technology worked well with Zephyrian power systems. Zephyrian materials science enhanced human engineering designs. Commander Vera began to see that the marriage between Lisa and Kira represented something larger than just personal love. It was the beginning of a true alliance between their peoples. She started working with Jake on formal agreements for cooperation. The Human Federation and the Zep Empire could share knowledge, trade, resources, and protect each other from common threats. The wedding ceremony itself was planned for the main hall of Kepler Station. The space was large enough to hold several hundred guests from both species. Security was provided jointly by human and Zephyrian forces. Lisa would wear a specially designed dress that incorporated both human elegance and Zephyrian strength. The fabric was human silk, reinforced with Zephyrian fiber that could stop weapons. The design was beautiful, but also practical. Kira chose to wear traditional Zephyrian ceremony armor that had been polished until it shined like silver. But she added human elements, like flowers and decorative ribbons, that showed the blending of cultures. Vera would perform the Zephyrian part of the ceremony, while a human chaplain would handle the human traditions. Both would declare the marriage valid under the laws of both peoples. The guest list included important figures from both governments. Scientists from both species wanted to attend to celebrate the cooperation that Lisa and Kira represented. Military leaders came to see the historic alliances. The wedding day approached. Lisa felt nervous, but excited. She had never imagined that fixing an alien power core would lead to marriage and diplomacy, but she was happy about all of it. Kira was excited to show her people that love could exist between species. She believed that her marriage to Lisa would inspire others to build bridges between different worlds. Commander Vera felt proud of her daughter and grateful for the changes that Lisa had brought to their family. She had gained not just a daughter-in-law, but a new understanding of what strength really meant. The wedding would be more than a ceremony. It would be the official beginning of friendship between humans and Zephyrians. It would show the galaxy that different species could not only cooperate, but love each other. Jake prepared his speech for the reception. He wanted to thank Commander Vera for teaching humans about courage and honor. He wanted to celebrate Lisa and Kira for showing that love could overcome any obstacle. The stage was set for a wedding that would be remembered in the history of both species. The wedding day arrived with perfect weather on Kepler Station. The main hall had been decorated with flowers from Earth and crystal formations from Zephyria. The combination created something beautiful that neither culture could have achieved. Alone, Lisa stood in her preparation room looking at herself in the mirror. Her dress was stunning. The human silk flowed like water, while the Zephyrian reinforcing fibers caught the light like stars. She wore her grandmother ring, and a Zephyrian honor band that Commander Vera had given her. Kira was in her own room putting on the ceremonial armor that had belonged to her grandmother. The metal had been polished until it gleamed and decorated with human flowers that Lisa had chosen. Each flower represented a promise they had made to each other. Commander Vera wore her finest dress uniform covered with medals from decades of service. She had added human decorations to show her acceptance of the blending cultures. She felt proud and emotional in a way she had not experienced since Kira was born. Jake checked his speech one more time. He would be giving Lisa away since her own father could not travel to Kepler Station. It was an honor he took seriously. Lisa had become like family to his crew. The guests began arriving. Early human diplomats in formal suits stood next to Zephyrian warriors in ceremonial armor. Scientists from both species compared notes, while military officers discussed tactical cooperation. Dia Rodriguez had worked with Zephyrian medical staff to ensure that all the different species present could safely share the same air and food. The reception would feature dishes from both cultures that everyone could enjoy. Ben Taylor commanded the joint security team that protected the ceremony. Human and Zephyrian guards worked together seamlessly. They had trained for weeks to coordinate their different approaches to protection. The ceremony began with traditional Zephyrian war drums that made the station vibrate. Human musicians joined in with instruments that harmonized with the alien rhythms. The sound was powerful, and moving. Commander Vera walked to the front of the hall in her role as family matriarch. She spoke in both languages about the meaning of the day, about courage and love and the joining of two peoples. Kira entered first, walking slowly and proudly in her armor. Her crewmates from the Storm Dancer cheered as she passed. The armor made her look like a warrior princess from ancient stories. Then, Lisa appeared on Jake's arm, walking down the aisle toward her future. The human guests gasped at how beautiful she looked, while the Zephyrians approved of her strength and dignities. The ceremony itself was unlike anything either species had seen before. The human chaplain spoke about love and commitment, while Commander Vera performed a Zephyrian bonding ritual. Lisa and Kira exchanged vows they had written together, promising to support each other's dreams, to face any challenge together, and to build bridges between their peoples. Through their love they exchanged rings in the human tradition and shared blood in the Zephyrian tradition. The combination meant they were married under the laws of both species. When Commander Vera declared them bonded, the entire hall erupted in celebration. Human applause mixed with Zephyrian war cries. The sound was so loud it could be heard throughout the station. The reception was a festival of cooperation. The food tables featured everything from earth vegetables to Zephyrian protein dishes. Human wine was served alongside Zephyrian celebration drinks. Lisa and Kira moved through the crowd together, accepting congratulations in multiple languages. They were exhausted, but happy, surrounded by friends from both their worlds. Jake gave his speech, praising Lisa's courage and thanking Commander Vera for welcoming humans into Zephyrian culture. He announced that their governments had signed preliminary agreements for cooperation. Vera spoke about how Lisa had changed her understanding of strength. She said that humans had taught Zephyrians that courage came in many forms, and that love was the greatest strength of all. The celebration continued late into the station night. Musicians from both cultures played together, creating new music that blended their traditions. Dancers taught each other steps from their home worlds. 6 months later, Lisa and Kira were working together on the new joint research station that had been built near the border between human and Zephyrian space. The station was a symbol of cooperation. Their marriage had inspired others. 3 more human Zephyrian couples had formed and were planning their own weddings. The combat challenge tradition had evolved into a ceremony of commitment. Commander Vera had been promoted to ambassador and spent her time traveling between human and Zephyrian worlds. She helped other families understand the benefits of cooperation. Jake commanded a new ship, designed with both human and Zephyrian technology. It was faster and stronger than anything either species had built alone. His crew was mixed human and Zephyrian. Rodriguez ran a medical exchange program that had revolutionized healing techniques for both species. Human medicine combined with Zephyrian natural healing created treatments that saved lives. Ben Taylor led the joint military academy where soldiers from both species trained together. They learned that combining human strategy with Zephyrian strength made them nearly unbeatable. The research station where Lisa and Kira worked had become famous throughout the galaxy. Scientists from dozens of species came to study how different cultures could work together. Lisa and Kira discoveries in combined technology were being used to build better ships, design new cities, and solve problems that had puzzled scientists for generations. Their love story had become legend among both people's children. Grew up hearing about the human engineer who fought a Zephyrian commander for love, and the alien princess who chose love over tradition. But for Lisa and Kira themselves, the most important part was not the fame or the historical significance. It was the quiet moments when they worked together, solved problems together, and planned their future together. Commander Vera visited them often, bringing news from home and updates on the growing friendship between their peoples. She had become a grandmother figure to the entire research station. The station had become a meeting place where humans and Zephyrians learned from each other. New families formed, new friendships grew, new discoveries were made. Every day as Lisa and Kira stood together watching ships from both their people's dock at the station, they knew they had helped create something important. They had proven that love could overcome any difference. Their wedding had been the beginning of a new era, where humans and Zephyrians stood together as allies and friends. The galaxy was a safer place, because they had chosen to fight for love.